very difficult because of quantity responsiveness and uneconomical quantity. So this guideline provides this critical privilege for us. The other is lease procurement. Obviously, placement can be treated as lease procurement, but that was framework. This is very restrictive and a clear manner. The new guideline stated lease procurement. The other new is the electronic reverse auction, which is included in our new directive. The other is, I think this one could be very new, and the contract manufacturing is also included in this directive. The other, previously it has turnkey procurement, but we didn't use this, and the problem is it is not clearly described in the guideline. In this new guideline, it has clearly described, so we can use this one. I think that part is the tendering part, and this is just a summary. Then I will jump this slide. The other portion is contract management, just a single slide in the contract management. In the old performance security issue, as you well know, is all or none forfeit. It's 100% or none or all. In this new guideline, performance security by level of damage. That is, I think, the great and the good consideration and new directive. The other in the contract is split the payment modality to reduce the risk for the medical equipment require long-term contract management and are affected by the high quality concern. In the case of new, for medical equipment that passes through a complex supply process and requires long-term contract management. In addition to performance guarantee, a conditional guarantee may also be requested. This is the additional concept. The other is the payment term, which was previously we have been using LC and CAD, which is cash on delivery. A new guideline, additional payment modalities included, like advance payment for the local, consignment sales, open account, and a different payment terms have been included. I think this is the legal framework departures I already shared. My second point is digitalization. I think I will not take such a long time on digitalization part. Just to highlight you, we have ERP, we have EGP. ERP is, as you know, is Enterprise Resource Planning, EGP, Electronic Government Procurement System. The third one is EDMS, is Electronic Document Management System. The third one is barcoding. I will mostly focus on the ERP. When we see the ERP, I think we successfully implemented this ERP in Trench 1 and in Trench 2, just to show you the modules in each trench. We have like a quantification module, we have procurement module, we have like ship to store with extended warehouse management, EWM, S2S modules. We have finance module, we integrated the whole these modules. We have a H2R module, which is hire to retire, which is human resource module. We have the quality module, which is inspect to receive. We have also employees health and safety module. We have transport management module for fleet management. We have cash to order, order to cash, which is sales module. We have inspect to repair, which is maintenance module. These modules already, most of them implemented in Trench 1. I think transport module and very few modules already shifted to Trench 2. When we see Trench 2, it is just an advancement module from Trench 1. So we have employee self-service module, like management self-service modules. We have advanced warehouse and central ordering modules. We have travel management module. We have like customer relationship management modules, tender management modules, and other modules. The other thing is in digitalization, we have our own infrastructure, which is on-premise infrastructure. This is already our modular data center. You can see all data under our control. This one is just to show you the EDMS, which is electronic document management system, from paper to digital document management system. In summary, almost all ERP, EGP, EDMS have successfully implemented. Barcoding, already contract signed, and the implementation ongoing. The third part is new initiatives, about new initiatives. When we see new initiatives, we have committed demand, we have multi-vendor, and we have other initiatives. For the time being, I will focus on only for the committed demand and multi-vendor. What's the committed demand? Committed demand, where the health facility is committed for the pharmaceutical demand with approved budget. There is quantification. Traditionally, we have quantification exercise, but there was no budget for approved budget. It's a kind of just estimation. Currently, because of this committed demand, we are implementing the demand from health facility with budget. And it's not only committed demand, obviously it's also committed supply too, because from EPSS side, we should supply. So I think your role is also very crucial in committed demand and supply, we can say. Yeah, just to see the cycle, we are starting from planning, preparations, and demand quantification. After demand quantification, demand validation and aggregation. After aggregation, finalization in the budget confirmation, then supply planning and the sourcing. After supply planning and the sourcing, procurement and the distribution. This is how this committed demand, because the demand directly from facility by the active engagement of regional health bureaus, ministries, and the health facilities. Yeah, just to show the current status already in terms of preparation of directives and the quantification, we already finalized. Need identification by the engagement of facility, we already handled this. Currently, we are in demand aggregation phase. I think in the coming weekend, we have a high-level meeting with the regions and just to secure the budget issue. After that, contract signing, sourcing, and the delivery. The payment issues will be continued, and then the life cycle will be continued. The other is who will be benefited from this initiative, committed demand and the supply. The center is patient. It's very obvious. The other is suppliers, because of this committed budget from the demand side. The other is manufacturers, EPSS. We have been suffering from receivable credit issues. So we could be the one who will enjoy from this. The other is community health insurance, more than 50 million people in this insurance scheme. And the other insurance is the pipeline, which is social health insurance. So the implementation of committed demand would benefit all these actors. Yeah, in terms of benefit, I already mentioned. I think the most important, unlikely the previous trends, EPSS will better forecasting and real demand, while suppliers now in advance the orders to be received by the EPSS, so that could also help suppliers too. The other is lean and agile supply chain within EPSS. This arrangement minimizes the risk of overstock, wastage rate, stock out problems could be minimized. The second initiative is multi-vendor sourcing strategy. Just to show you our people list, this is just most of you may know, this is our people list. For regular medicine, around 255. Anti-cancer, 54. Total for regular medicine, 546. For program medicine like TB, malaria, HIV, family planning is around 782. This is the PPL. So committed demand for PPL items. When we come to the multi-vendor sourcing, it is the items, non-PPL items. So the quantification process, the demand process is almost similar. The difference, the big difference in multi-vendor and the committed demand is one, committed demand is PPL item. I already show you. Multi-vendor, non-PPL item. Procurement, storage, and the distribution is responsibility for the committed demand is us, EPSs. For multi-vendor, only tendering and the contract signing is expected, managed by EPSs. The quantification is still the same. Health facilities, regional health bureau, MOH, for both for committed demand and for multi-vendor, it's the same. When we see centralized contract management for the committed demand, but for multi-vendor contract, we expect that the contract management would be decentralized, at least to the regional level. But because of economic of scale, we can aggregate the quantified products, we can consolidate, we can float, and we can tender. After that, we are award. After award, we will sign the contract. After signing of contract, the contract management expected to at regional health bureaus level. So you can see suppliers have responsibility for distribution and the storage for the multi-vendor sourcing, but for the committed demand, it's as EPSs. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We will have the question and answer session after the next presentation. Before that, I would like to take you through the most important part of the presentation. Actually, the major part is the proclamation and the directive. You have to focus on that. We will put this presentation. We will send you the presentation, and slide number 1, you have to focus on the actual change, and you have to look at those, and I directly go to the second presenter. The second presenter is Mr. Awal Jamal Ibrahim. He was now appointed as a procurement manager director at EPS's head office. Thank you, Mr. Jamal.
Okay, thank you, Alex. I will try to address some of the points on the procurement management, the challenge and opportunity that we have. So this is my presentation outline. I will try to address some of the principles, procurement principles in EPSs, and the demand projection, major shift in our procurement system, and then procurement schedule, just for giving some information where to plot the bid, and then what are the challenges that we are facing in our tender and contract management and product delivery. So as an introduction, EPSS is currently managing the health community needs for more than 5,000 public health facilities. And also the procurement or the need for those facilities are managed centrally. It is initially the need is collected from the facility, and then the consolidation is done at central level. So we use, for this purpose, the integrated pharmaceutical logistic management system is one of the principles that we are using to manage the need as well as delivery of the product to those facilities. In addition, EPS is also managing the supply chain operation, that the procurement, storage, and distribution of health commodity for partners, donors, and other non-governmental organizations. So currently, more than 215 national and international suppliers are working with the EPSs. So these are some of the principles that we follow during our procurement management. The first one is just we look for value for money, as you know, because of scarcity of the resources and to avail the product based on the need of the facility. And our procurement system is non-discriminatory, and we look for equity, transparency, and accountability. In addition to that, we encourage the preference margin for local investment to promote the investment on pharmaceutical sector and to increase our local production. These are the principles. And also, we are trying to advance our procurement system, especially to address the need of those facilities. And in our pharmaceutical supply development and investment plan, this is clearly depicted that there is an advancement for the procurement process through the following three initiatives. The first one is just strengthening the strategic procurement system, and on having supply relationship management system, and finally designing and implementing a medical equipment management system because of its peculiar nature. So when we see the demand projection from 2021 to 2031, the pharmaceutical market in our country may reach up to 2.1 billion in 2031. So you can see how the demand is increasing, or the pharmaceutical market is increasing. And specifically when we see the demand projection for pharmaceuticals that are managed by EPSs, the so-called the revolving drug fund, you can also see that there is an increase in demand projection. This is specifically only for RDF product. That is the product which we manage with our internal capacity. So when we see the trend, when we see the spend analysis, you can easily observe from the graph that the RDF product or the procuring capacity or the buying capacity of our RDF product is increasing from time to time. And this is just the clear depiction for the increment in demand for pharmaceuticals. And this is the category where the pharmaceuticals or medicines are taking the largest share, which is around 158 million USD per annum. So what are the major shifts in our procurement and supply at EPSs? We currently engaging stakeholders based on their direct or indirect impact in our supply chain system. So for instance, we engage the EFDA, okay, to support and also play their pivotal role in approving our POs and registration of new products for market authorization. And also we are doing on real-time demand, since we implement the ERP system, now our capacity toward this knowing the real need or demand of a specific product is increasing from time to time. So once we provide PO, we immediately open the LC. But previously, providing PO means may not directly providing or opening the LC. So currently, the PO immediately followed by LC opening. The other one is the microeconomic reform that we made at country level. So this will improve our access to foreign currency. So again, there is no problem that we may face in terms of shortage of foreign currency for procurement. The other one is the EPSS has made, as it has been stated by the previous presenter, there is a reshuffling of positions individuals, and at the same time, there is designing new structure and process to facilitate the overall supply chain system. And also the capacity building training were also intensively provided in order to have the good and well responsive supply chain system. The other one is improved supply relationship management. This is one of its kind. In terms, in addition to face-to-face evaluation of our suppliers, we also organizing and also having close contact with our suppliers through such kind of webinars. So we have conducted this supply forum previously 4 times. And some of the outcomes that we obtain from this kind of discussion is just there is an improved relationship between EPSS and suppliers. There is also enhanced contract execution, reduced compliant handling, and at the same time improved trust and understanding among the 2 parties. The other one is the digitalization, which have already been mentioned. That is, we are using ERP, we are using electronic government procurement system to improve our transparency. So during the supply performance and appraisal, we usually use the following KPIs. The first one is the OTIF, that is the on time in full delivery, lead time, defect-free and responsiveness were one of the KPI that we are utilizing to evaluate our suppliers. So what is new in our procurement system? Just you can easily refer this website to obtain the whole directive, to read and understand some of the modification or improvement that we made in our procurement directives. And the tools that we are using for our procurement process is just, as I've said before, the electronic government procurement system is one of the tools that we are using. So once we have started, the transparency, efficiency, accessibility, and simplicity were being observed in our procurement system. And in terms of implementation of ERP, end-to-end data visibility, so on-time demand or real-time demand, and stock monitoring will improved, and that will enable us to give on-time decision or evidence-based decision. And the other one is the integration with the stakeholders that will facilitate, like with EFDA for PO approvals, with customs and with bank for payment and for clearance. And evidence-based supply chain decision were being seen, and efficient resource management were achieved. These are some of the tools that we are implementing in our procurement system to have well-functioning and efficient supply chain system. So these are the process that we follow when we float and evaluate and award the tender using EGP. So we start with the planning on EGP, and we end up with award, provision of award. And so within a short period of time, the contract management will be started on this. So all the process will be implemented using the electronic government procurement system. That will improve our transparency, and everybody can easily observe and easily evaluate the way we proceed up to contract execution. These are our procurement schedule. We usually start the planning in April to June, and on July, the approval of procurement plan will be made, and tender floating maybe up to, in August, tender advertisement, and then September to October, we evaluate and provide award. November to December, the contract management, up to January to March, receive of the product. But this does not mean that the whole process will be, our all procurement will be follow this step, because there are some donors, some partners, stakeholders that we are going to manage their procurement system. So let us come to the challenge that we face in our previous procurement system. The first one is, especially when we talk about this challenge, some of them was previously managed, and to some extent our procurement system were flexible, but currently we are using the ERP system. So once we feed all the specification, then the adjustment might not be as much easy as before. So the first challenge that we are facing is the product specification discrepancy. That means specification deviation from contract award and often occurring upon PFI request. Example, change in product dosage form, like tablet and capsule, or injection or powder for injection, and variation in packaging size, like 25 tests or 10 tests, 3 times 10 or 10 times 10. So this kind of variation is a little bit difficult from now onwards, and we may not entertain. So it needs to be, attention should be given when you feel when you feel the tender. Then the other one is delayed supplier response, like the late response to clarification requests, especially during bid evaluation, confirmation of consent for refill orders and allocated quantity at awarded price, submission of signed contract, and issuance of fresh pre-forma invoice. These are some of the delays that we observe, and this will indirectly influence the availability and contribute to stock out or to practice emergency procurement, which is a little bit expensive. And the other one is the post-award supply request is another challenge. Request for amendment to existing purchase orders and splitting of purchase orders and price adjustment, especially in spot tender cases. All this leads to delay of supply against the set delivery schedule. The other one is the logistic and delivery issue, port of shipment challenge, because it has its own implication in terms of the overall cost of procurement, especially where the Ethiopian shipping lines or Ethiopian airlines being inaccessible. So the payment term complications, like LC confirmation, cash against document or advance payment, changes or inconsistency in manufacturer name or country of origin, Incoterm alteration, all this will contribute the inefficiency in our procurement system or may increase the lead time. The other one is supplier registration. So failure of supplier to register on required platforms, especially on EGP, as I've said before. So low participation in FDA registration system for product market authorization, and delays in FDA certificate renewal, especially when there is outdated. And delay in registration on EGP is some of the challenge that we are facing, or this indirectly minimize the number of bidders that will participate in specific tenders. The other one is limited supplier base. This is maybe an opportunity to see where to invest and where to participate in our procurement system. So narrow supplier pool for specific categories such as anti-cancer and laboratory staining chemicals. We are facing a big challenge. So the previously conducted analysis have shown that only 33% of the total pharmaceutical that we manage have more than 5 suppliers. And also when we see around 29% or 194 items has 2 to 4 suppliers, and item with a single suppliers account for 38% of our total product, and item category with no registered suppliers are also there, like laboratory reagent, around 32 items has no registered suppliers, medical device, 57 items, RDF, 73 items, or that means medicine, and anti-cancer, 80 items, kidney transplant, 23 items, and medical supplies, 30 items. Then the other challenge, especially after contract, changes in specification after contract award is another challenge. This refers to any alteration made due to the product specification or terms of the offer following the formal awarding of the contract, Such change usually occur after the letter of credit, and this alteration may disrupt the agreement and affect the overall quality and delivery timeline of the product. The other one is delay in response to performance guarantee and shipment updates is also another challenge. These overall contribute to delays in operational setback, logistic challenge, and increased cost for all parties involved in this contract. And submission of forgery performance bond or bid bonds are also observed in few suppliers. And this serious issue involves the illegal submission of forged documents such as performance bond, bid bond during the bidding process. And such action jeopardize the integrity of the procurement process and at the same time can lead to financial loss and may result in legal consequence. The other one is the batch size and packaging size discrepancy during product delivery. So any change made to the previously agreed upon batch size and the dimension or specification of packaging. So this will impact our product quality, shipping, logistics, inventory management, and potentially leading to inefficiency and increased cost and service delivery disruption. The other one is use of low quality packaging material is another challenge, and such material may compromise the safety, integrity, and shelf life of the product during transport, storage, and potentially resulting in product damage and contamination. The other one is change in country of origin. As I've said before, when we provide PO, we feed all the information in our ERP system, and then the product description should match with all the information that we are provided in your purchase order. So any change may compromise the receiving process of the product. The other one is modification in port of loading, as I've said before. This may have financial implication, and again, it may result in delays for product delivery or receiving. The other one is a request for amendment or extension of the letter of credit from the supplier side is again another challenge. So suppliers may request change to the terms set forth in the letter of credit after it has been issued, and this could involve asking for extension of validity or revision of specific conditions which can complicate financial arrangement and disrupt the timely fulfillment of the contractual obligations. And the other one is shipment made after the expiration date of the letter of credit. Again, this also challenging us and again showing a big problem in managing this issue. And this indirectly result in delays of product delivery or sometimes result in stock out or emergency procurement for that specific product. The other one is a partial shipment not compliant with the LC documentation. So this occurs when only portion of the goods agreed upon in the letter of credit is shipped and the shipment does not conform to the stipulated documentation, and this can create discrepancy and inventory record result and financial loss for the buyer. Non-compliance with shelf life, again, the very critical issue, and this will also bring pressure on EPSS from the facility side too. The facility may not accept product with a near expiry, and as we have mentioned before, we are entering into the commitment with the facility. So EPSS is taking commitment to deliver the product, and so this product should be as per the specification mentioned in the contract. So any deviation from the shelf life may also create disagreement between EPSS and the facility or its customer. The other one is failure to follow authorized communication protocols, especially in instance of non-compliance with established communication procedure occur when unauthorized channel or methods are used for business discussion. So this can lead to misalignment, miscommunication, and potential conflict between the business partners, or between EPSS and the suppliers. And the final one is the short landed quality defect and short shelf replacement delay. So in this case, we are currently facing delays in our replacement process, especially for those short shelf life or short landed or quality defect product. So when we say short landing, some shipment did not arrive as expected, leading to insufficient inventory on hand. And quality defect, we have identified some product with a quality issue, and that may not be allowed by EFDA for utilization or for distribution in the country. And short shelf life, certain product may have a limited shelf life, so they might not be consumed within that specified shelf life, so the facility may refuse to take the product. So then compliance with imprint requirements. So in our bid document, we enforce the supplier to put the EPSS logo in internal and external container. And so proper logo usage is essential for branding, compliance with regulations, and ensuring customer trust in our product. And low contract performance is again another issue. So continual failure to meet the performance benchmark outlined in the contract can result in dissatisfaction among clients and then business partners. This may lead to potential breach of contract and financial penalty and termination of the business relationship between EPSS and its suppliers. Then recurring shipping document discrepancy is again another challenge. So the frequent inconsistency in documentation can result in confusion, delays, and potential non-compliance. So moreover, discrepancy in shipping document may hinder timely port clearance and leading to additional cost for the buying organizations. And then extended delivery, supplier delivery or lead time is again another challenge. So this refers to the amount of time it takes for supplier to deliver goods or service after an order has been placed. And when that duration is longer than expected or required, this can lead to customer dissatisfaction, or it may result in stockouts, or it may necessitate emergency procurement. So way forward, as EPSS, we need to have a strong partnership with our suppliers, with manufacturers, and then we also want to work collaboratively to strengthen our supply chain system. And as a way forward, we hold pre-contract meeting. Once we award the goods for the winner, we conduct some kind of meeting. That is to stick to the contract terms and terms of agreement. And the other one is conduct regular ongoing webinars and like discussing the challenge that we are facing from time to time. And then implement supplier pre-qualification. Sometimes we may, in the future, we may implement the pre-qualification system for suppliers. So your performance is one of the key parameters that are going to be evaluated to include our strategy as our strategic partner. Then implement category management based on the different categories that we manage. We need to enhance the supplier relationship management with suppliers. And for poor suppliers-based product, implementing the contract sharing from other countries and organizations, as you can see from our new directives. Requesting commitment letter on bid evaluation. So we encourage all suppliers to register their product in our country. So this will facilitate the easy PO approval and clearance for the product. And also supplier should submit immediate notification letter in case of authority or company name change happened, because again, this may also create difficulty during PO approval and product clearance. To avoid forgery, work with the bank to integrate the process and to enforcing the contract execution and determining minimum batch size and production based on the volume of procurement. And prerequisite for supplier to specify batch size in bid document and announcing tender notice on global tender platforms. So these are the way we put the way forward to improve our partnership and at the same time improve our procurement efficiency. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Awol. I think the participants, we will have time now for question and answer. I would like to say that the question, we are about 110 participants. To give chance for all of us, please focus on the question and take at least 1 minute, less than 1 minute to place your question. Then the rest of you, if you want, place it on in the chat box. Then we will answer it in this session, or if we don't answer it in this session, definitely you will get the answer within the next 2 days for all who participate on this webinar. So the room is now open for question and answer. You can raise your hand, then we will call you from that. Over to you.
Okay. So I think we can start with discussion. Let's just Shilpa Trivedi. You already raised your hand, and you can start your question, please. Shilpa Trivedi, you already raised your hand, please unmute. Okay, Pravir, if you want to speak or you want to drop on the chat, you can choose one. Pravir. Shilpa, you can proceed now. I can't hear. Shilpa, can you repeat your question?
Yeah, so there in the presentations for the framework and for the awards, the different models which are going to come up, like multi-vendor and the negotiations about 30%, which was highlighted. So this new system is for the future tenders, or it can be applicable for the current framework?
Thank you. Thank you. Pravir. Pravir? Okay, I think we can answer the question of Shilpa and some of the question which is already put on the chat list. Good. So thank you, Shilpa, for the question. Can you hear me, Shilpa? Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. Those new procurement directive is for, from the May 20, like June 3 or 4, it will be implemented. Before that, it's not. It's a new directive, which is registered in Ministry of Justice and approved by the Parliament. So it will be implemented afterward, so that the new any procurement directive will be implemented like that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you for this.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes. Continue, Pravir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Greetings to everybody sitting in the panel. So I am Praveer from Aurobindo Pharmaceuticals, and I am joining this webinar from Kenya, nearby country.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. So, having stayed in Ethiopia for almost 7 years, and meeting EPSA and having a very good rapport for Aurobindo Pharmaceuticals, I am posing a practical question as a supplier to the organization. EPSA is a very reputed one. So my question is with respect to the supply time for the LC or the CAD, which is actually established by EPSS against the order. Now, I read in one of the slides that this time it will be a kind of real-time, real-time release of the purchase order and the LC together. Yeah, if my understanding is correct. So now my question is with respect to the supplier, in which the quantities of a product are actually running into multiple thousands or maybe sometimes even millions. So as a reputed global supplier, I am requesting EPSS that kindly also give some kind of idea of the quantities to the supplier in advance, so that they are able to actually start the procurement of various ingredients which are related to preparation of pharmaceuticals like APIs and excipients and packaging material. Because even though we are actually committed to supply the product to EPSS in a matter of 90 days against the establishment of LC and CAD, but at times this time is actually really not sufficient, as a supplier and as one of the suppliers actually. My request, which I'm making to the esteemed panelists in EPSS now, is that if you could actually give us some idea of the quantity to the supplier well before you establish an LC or a CAD against the purchase order, that will help us in utilizing that additional time as a buffer, and will be able to carry out our supplies more efficiently. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pravir, for the question. I can add one more question from Jamin Shaha. Yeah, good afternoon, Jamin. You can start.
Hello, can you hear me now? Thank you.
Yes.
My name is Adnan Sakeda. I'm from Guangdong Guahi Medical, which is a manufacturer for dialysis consumables for the last 30 years from China, Guangzhou, and I'm working as East Africa sales manager for this company. And I have one quick question for the PPPs. And as our company experience and my experience for the last 8 years, for dialysis services, there is most of the suppliers are provided by private sector in Ethiopia. So, what's the immediate plan from EPPs for these products as a to supply the products to the government hospitals? Because for the last 5 years, in my experience, 90% of the supplies for the dialysis sector is from the private sector, which has a lot of problems with the end-user. So we need good engagement from the EPPs to supply for the dialysis sector. Thank you.
Thank you. Your question is well noted. We can add one more question. Jameen Shaha. Jameen, if you can hear us. Or Nikit Tahil. Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, Jameen, you can start now.
Oh, thank you so much. This is Jameen Shah from BBJ Limited. Thank you for holding this webinar. It was very, very informative and interesting. My question is regarding the supply chain. I mean, supply chain has inevitable challenges. At the moment, the supply chain is being, compounded and complicated by war and conflict. My question is, what is the ETSS stance and policy on supporting suppliers who might be affected by this? Will ETSS consider supporting suppliers by allowing LC extensions to purchase orders, POs, where the suppliers are not able to stick to and supply within the 90-day LC period when impacted by war and conflict? I think, as a responsible supplier, we would always try and supply within the 90-day period, which is the big preference of ETSS, but sometimes it's just not possible. Yeah, thank you so much for that.
Thank you. The question from Pravir and Mr. Ratnapu. So I think on the issue of quantity notification, basically we do have a quantity notification procedure, so where we can have our supplier ahead of time. We know that when the contract is signed, we have a period of performance bond, period of LC openings that take a time for our supplies. But in most cases, we have to sign a letter and notify you with confirmation of that purchase order until LC open and start production. Currently, we are doing that. In the most of, we can start this procedure in the meantime. So we notify you the quantity. We notify you on the early production of the goods. So when you receive when you receive LC, you already start production, so that it takes you time for preparation for raw material, pulling from different sites, different country or whatever you pull from. I think this is what we do, and we can do together with early notification of the quantity. And also we do the partial shipment in LC, in our LC.
Right.
Yeah. So we will give you partial shipment. So when there's a production, you can have early partial shipment of that product, and we can do the later one. But that depends on the goods issues. Some of commodity is very sensitive; it might not be allowed for partial shipment. But for some it might be, that. I see the echoes. Is it going on? Yeah.
Yeah, there is some echo. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Can you hear me now? ድምፅ ያለው ድምፅ አለ? Can you hear me now? Yeah. So in that case, the quantity notification, the partial shipment will be allowed for the commodity in order for you for early preparation and early delivery of the product. It depends on the communication that we have between you and that and the type of commodity, which it might be emergency or it might be in a routine case. The dialysis issue, which was requested by Atnaf, yeah, most of it has been in the private sector, but majorly most of the patients that we have within the government sector, like major hospital in the country, that providing service for dialysis, and we supporting them with pulling of the consumables and also the machine currently for different hospital. So if that hospital has secured the budget line and demand is come, EPSS is ready to procure most of the machine as well as the consumable for dialysis. It's open, but it depends on the demand of the facility, whether they have a full picture to establish the dialysis with all budget allocated. That is the mandatory step for any facilities. In supply chain, there is conflict now everywhere across the world. There is a challenge in the routes, there is a challenge in the production, there is challenge in the pooling of raw material. Yes, we know that, but in most cases, let's say there is some area in globes there is a conflict. That doesn't matter, there is all area in conflict across the world. So we have to specify which area you are pulling from, which area are you having raw material with concrete evidence, so we would have any LC extension. Otherwise, sometimes it will be very confusing within the context of conflict, with the context of global situation, that to be LC extended because the good is needed here. But if you extend it more and more time, we might end up in stock out. As we say, we might not be targeted with what the colleagues presented as committed demand to the facility. Today's session is more important because we are going to committed demand for the health facility, early planning, early procurement, early delivery is very, very important at this step. So any issue which is very manageable and concrete evidences come up, we can extend the LC period within that, especially for medical equipment where the raw material is very challenging. So thank you very much. I think this is 3 questions that has been raised. Any question from, I think I see the Nikit Tale. Nikit Tale.
Samuel, I have a supplementary question.
Yeah, Pravir. Okay, you can go.
Yeah, thank you, Hamas Signal. So I have a supplementary question. The question is with respect to, again, something which is actually related with the shipment, because this entire supply chain management processes is linked end to end. So one of the challenges which we as a supplier is facing is with respect to the product when it is ready for shipment, and we are not able to actually get the vessel to be sent to Ethiopia. So in India, for example, Ethiopian shipping lines have their designated agents called Samsara shipping lines. And for us to coordinate with Samsara shipping lines to get availability on the vessel is very, very crucial. Because unless we actually get a vessel confirmation for shipment and the product is actually loaded on the vessel, we do not get the master bill. Unless we get the master BL, it does not have a complete set of documents to be submitted to bank before the LC expires. So while we are in a situation that the product is ready for shipment before the LC is expiring, yet we are not able to submit the documents to the bank because the vessel is not available, which means that we are not able to get the master BL, which is one of the essential 5 documents in the LC process. So if EPSS can also look into this
supplier, it will definitely reduce or minimize the request for extension of LCs or CHCs. Thank you. Hamal Signal.
Your question is well noted. Jamin, I think Jamin is already there. I see. Okay, she dropped her hand. Good. Hermes. Hermes, if Hermes is not, I think. Yossi, Paita. Yossi Paitan. Please proceed with your question.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Hi, it's Yossi Paitan. I'm talking from elsewhere.
I think Yossi, I can't hear you. Yossi Paitan.
Hello.
Yes, you can proceed now, Yossi.
Okay, thank you. It's Yossi Paitan from elsewhere. My question is concerned regarding the commitment for shelf life of reagent. Sometimes when the list of reagents is very, very big, the manufacturer does not have all the expiries for the committed shelf life. In that case, in the past, we were willing to provide a letter of commitment that if they will expire, we will compensate them. Is it acceptable still in the future procurement process?
Your question is well noted. Hermes? Proceed, please.
Yeah, good afternoon, Dr. Everyone, dedicated team. I really appreciate everyone to arrange this platform to have all the stakeholders all the in the same page. And I will directly proceed to my question. The first one is it is important for retailers to have suppliers registered in the system. However, this registration after they created their platform online, they will submit their user and password to the NOC PGP. But approval is getting delayed too much. There is also maybe mandatory for us to get their offices this application approved. So question is how can this online availability get their username and password. The second one is difficult to access stock products in the vendor list after they logged in. They have to go a lot of processes. As if they are going to give the quotation, but first it will be for them to see which items are there in the list. That if there are that can offer of that, they can go further into the quotation. But the system is not allowing them to see the list of products in the vendor right after their logged in. The third one is indeed the procurement system was shifted from manual to the online system. Actually, if I'm mistaken, without notifying the system, the stakeholders, especially suppliers, and the suppliers also having some challenges how to register and how to give their quotation on that. So it has a lot of procedures. I would appreciate if you can arrange such type of virtual meetings to inform customers and suppliers to let how they can give their quotation online. These are my questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for Samala. Thank you very much for the question. For the follow-up question from Parbir on the shipment, we have some challenge actually with booking across many of the ports, but Ethiopian Airlines have Ethiopian shipping lines has different ports across the globe, and we do that. Booking and having the vessels might be challenge, but for most of our goods, we are shipping from different ports across the globe. So in case to the new systems, we have now multiples, or shipment modality currently working on it. Once we complete with that, we notify you which only is it that we go with Ethiopian shipping lines or we go with another. We can give you more of an options to where the shipment could be, because I know booking will be some delayed and that vessel might not be available, so it lead to the expiry of LEC. That will affect your goods and also our delivery time. What we do is we work on this. We are working currently on this to have different options. How we will have booking early with different shipping systems, so that we will have go through that. We will work on that, and we will notify you different booking modalities and different options for the vessels. But what you have to know is sometimes we see in a practical challenge, some of supplier come up with there is a booking problem, there is a challenge that LC is expiry, the latest shipment is in a critical state, so please extend my LC. Yes, we can accept that, but the issue is they don't have a concrete evidence for that in most of the issues. So if you have evidence with Ethiopian shipping lines so that the booking is delayed or a booking may not be available within that period, we take us as a guarantee and we can extend LC. So we'll work on that issue because it is a global situation where the vessels might not be available, where there is also a booking challenging. That's a challenge across the supply chain system, but we'll work on that. Regarding the LCMED issue about the shelf life, yeah, we are managing the placement laboratories with reagent issues, with some very short shelf life, some are extended shelf life. The issue is we notice these issues in most of our practical experience, day-to-day receiving of this reagents. So in a bundle issues of most of our reagent, some reagent might go with bundle, some reagent may go separately. The issue is if the bundle of the product has a very short shelf life, might not go together, it affects the other products. So in that case, we might be not accepted, but we have an experience of taking short shelf life and also replacing within your organization. That depends on what type of reagent that you have been giving us. So we can't specifically discuss the detail of an items on LCMED issues, but we have a problem within receiving this product of laboratories within a very short shelf life period, but we can manage bilaterally within organization. Yeah. And registration issue, the EGP issue, I think what I get from your question is recently Ethiopia has, declared most of federal facility has working with EGP, electronic government procurement system. and our institution is one of an institution who priorly implementing this EGP. So the challenge might be there because it's new system on registration, on also filling your quotation and so on. So that might need some training from your local agent, so they can support you with how to do quotation, how to have familiarized with the systems. I know it says new systems, like 1 or 2 years, there might be challenge, but this system is good that currently we see, but we can support you with giving the training to your local supplier. We can plan that so your local supplier can have, good handling the system well. So we can support you to that. I think Leila, most of the question is through the chat. I think, sure. Okay. We have a lot of questions through. Yeah, it is very mandatory to be in EGP. Mandatory. Currently, without EGP, we can't go with any tender. We can't go with any tender. EGP is mandatory now. Our new procurement directive says any supplier, any tender would be conducted through EGP only, unless otherwise some jolly champion. Otherwise, EGP is very mandatory. So all of the supplier should have registered on the EGPs. I think so. There are many questions through chat issues about the LC large volume production, which I already answered. So partial shipment can process a month's gap. So for large volume of the product as well as the medical equipment, which the production time might take, we can allow the partial shipment in that case. And dialysis consumable, I think we already did. What is the reference exchange price? USD referred to, I don't know, you can filter the question, which I have to answer it, I think. Otherwise, some of the question might be relevant to this session. So when the payment of 90% and 10%, we are informed that 10% will be paid when EPSS submit acceptance letter. However, LC usually expire before the good reach EPSS warehouse. How will EPSS will treat that? So in case of 90 to 10%, we use mostly for medical equipment in this regard. So if 90% payment will be applied with the goods is received, 10% is when the process of installation and other is completed from the facility. The acceptance letter should be come from the facility that the goods is installed well and commissioned well. Then we will go with the 10% payment. Otherwise, that 10% is a guarantee for us to that the LC the goods is installed properly. But the challenge is sometimes from our real facilities, from the other side of beneficiaries, there might be delay, which most of the time we solve it through bilateral negotiation. Yeah. Okay. I think I didn't say any different question. Multi-vendor. Yeah, multi-vendor clarity. Some of you might confuse with this strategy. Multi-vendor is Ethiopian Pharmaceutical Supply Services as two category of the medical list. Pharmaceutical procurement list is a list that we have, which we can deliver, which we can have procurement, which we can store and distribute it. That is our system listed every 2 years. That is pharmaceutical procurement list. But there is also non-pharmaceutical procurement list that we have as a country. That is economically small in quantity but very needed in most of our hospital. So in that case, current proclamation mentioned that EPSS is mandated to buy for all of health facility in the country. Then if there is an issue with sourcing, it has to give a sourcing option to most of health facility in the country. So in that regard, multi-vendor is an option of sourcing for our product. So what is multi-vendor? Multi-vendor is, it is new system which we didn't still not implemented, but it is in the stage of discussion, developing most of the strategy on that. Once completed, we have an option, sourcing option for some of the product which is not mentioned in our procurement list. That product could be very demanded by health facility, so we give them a sourcing option through the local supplier importers. So importer will have competed as a bid document, as a bidders, then centrally contracted, then should be decentralized to most of his facility that need specific product, so they can get pharmaceutical procurement list as well as they can get the non-pharmaceutical procurement list, so the patient could have get all of the medicine that is needed to that specific facility. So once we complete that multi-vendor system, we can give the more of our media press release and also or release in our social media, email, and so that everybody will be participated in the tender of this multi-vendor system. Yeah. Good. So I think Dr. Pankaj, last two questions. Dr. Pankaj and Dr. Pankaj Kumar. Dr. Pankaj. Pankaj.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for giving us opportunity to directly ask queries to you. Like, sir, I am just going to give you a condition that which is like a challenge for us sometimes. Like, when we receive a PO, depending on your PO, we also start doing production. And sometimes it is the case that even the performance bond and related document, which is already submitted and sent to the company. But sometimes when we follow on the LC, we find out that it is not in the current priority list. And it also creates a challenge because if you hold the stock is also going to lose the expiry. And it becomes a critical situation some of the time. I have some examples also. Once I get chance, even I'll meet you and discuss with you. And in that situation, it is very tough for us, ready stock, holding at our end, waiting for LC, and it is not sometimes like 30 days or 90 days. It is sometimes years, sometimes 3 months, 4 months. So how we are going to solve this issue in future? Because currently I have two similar kind of situation available at my end.
Well, thank you very much for the question. Okay. One more question, and I think we can conclude. Aditya. Aditya.
Hello.
Yes, Aditya, please proceed.
I'm calling from Kenama International, and I have a couple of queries. One regarding tri-party law, which these days is making huge sound in EFDA these days, and they are professing a lot about it. So I want to understand what is the stance of EPSS in future procurement about tri-party law, because we feel that this could bring a big bottleneck in availability and affordability of essential products like pharmaceutical if this will be implemented. And my second question is, how about LC extension? If we give a valid, because of any valid reason, so how was swiftness in getting the LC extension done? That's all.
Come again, the last question.
LC extension, like if there is some valid reason, we need some swiftness in
getting the LC extended because of some valid reasons coming to us, and we are sharing with the EPSS. So how swiftly this LC extension can be done, because we find some challenges over here.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Pakanj and the Aditya. Regarding the Dr. Pakanj question about the LC priorities, you know, we have an annual procurement systems where we have a competition bid, then we, you know, process with pure purchase order, and finally with LC opening period of time. But sometimes it depends on the goods demand from LC facility, where we can have prioritize our PO, which PO should be prioritized depending on the demand we receive from LC facility. Currently, we establish a sales and operation platform where end to end we can discuss on what was the demand currently we have, what was the finance status that we have, what was the, you know, general forex issue at the country that we have. Then we prioritize some of the PO depending on the decision of an executive committee as well as the technical committee. So in that regard, so the LC will be prioritized in that case. If there is any issue specific that might delayed, or because of that, we can look back at your question specifically. Otherwise, sales and operation is currently active, so every PO will be entertained at our sales and operation platform. Then that sales and operation platform will decide which PO will be very prioritized within this week, then the next week, and the others week, which will consequently open LC in that regard. The tri-party law, I think I'm very new to this tri-party law that you are mentioning, but our team, technical team, will find out what it is, and we might, you know, reflect to you that tri-party law, Aditya. Otherwise, I don't have anything to mention in this issues tri-party law. The valid LC extension, yes, if there is any concrete reason for LC extension, we can extend that. We have an experience of extending LC, but without any reason, we might not extend that because it affects our delivery status for currently what we are going to implementing, which is called the committed demand. It will affect totally that system because we agree with the facility, we legally bind with them. If we don't deliver, we will be accountable for not delivering on time. So any LC extension will not be, you know, acceptable unless otherwise the very concrete reason has been happened to our tables, so we can extend LC as usual, and the delivery from both sides will not be affected. I think this is issue. Yeah. Our moderator is telling me that the time, if it's like 4, which we can conclude because some of you is coming to late night, some of you is in the morning period, some of you is an afternoon, so we have to conclude within expected period of time. If any question that we might miss, so we have already have an email circulating that to this webinar. Please drop any email, any email that you need, any clarification question, so we can have understand your need as well as and question specifically to your company, so that we have mutual understanding and respond to your question. Otherwise, we may not have a time for all of the question that has been received here. Please reflect all of your time in that, so we can answer for you. But today, webinar is about the partnership, about understanding each other, about having what is new to this country, what has been mentioned, the new procurement directive, which is open a door to the globes. I think Ethiopia is now an open a door to the globe in a different what has been mentioned in our new procurement directive. So please go to the website, download it, or we might send you through our email that directive, and we have an opportunity to have a direct procurement, an opportunity of full procurement, an opportunity of having the product to this country. Above all, that new directive is, mention and, support the local manufacturing capacities. So we don't want to import all of our product. We want to produce in this country. That's why the directive give more of advantage for local pharmaceutical manufacturing up to the 7 years framework agreement in that regard. So any investment opportunity come to this country, basic, production capacity will be welcome to Ethiopia in that regard. Then otherwise the imported product, we would have mutual understanding, not a business buyer and seller, but a partnership. So we will have every mother, every child in Ethiopian facility should receive the medicine that they need in time, in full delivery. So that's our goal. So we would have support each other in that regard. And I think I will back the mic to our moderator, so he can conclude the meeting today. Thank you very much for attending, and our state minister who joined us today for a reflection, because currently Minister of Health is very focused on supply chain improvement. So one of the issue to be very focused area is supply chain improvement as a country, the backbone of health system, and the issue with supply chain should be resolved on time, and the EPSS should be the major buyer as a country, should be strengthened in every way, so the need and the demand from health facility should be fulfilled on time. So what we do is this, and thank you for joining us, our state minister, on this support, and we always thanks for your support in a supply chain, in every move, in every journey we are going together. Thank you very much for all of you joining. I just back the mic to our moderator.
Good afternoon, all. Thank you very much. I just would like to ask you to scan what is on the screen and give us feedback on today's webinar. That will help us also to improve. I would like to apologize also for all the glitches that we were facing in technically here. I would like to also thank the organizers of this webinar, the directorate, as well as also the EPSS. For above all, I would like you also to attend this 2.5 hours meeting, actually raising issues and suggesting comments. So we are here also to give you all the answers in writing. We will send it to your email. Anything that you want to put in the chat box after even the meeting, you can do it. Thank you very much. We would like to thank all of you. This webinar is closed with this. Thank you.
I think you have to give them time.
Yeah, you have time to scan, and we will just leave it for you to scan it and respond. Excuse me, we will put it in the chat box also at the link, so you can click it from there and respond to the questions. It's not many questions. You can respond it within 5 to 10 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you all.
ባይለንሳት ያለ ብዙ አለ እዛ ላይ እንደማየው ወደ ኢሜል ባይላተራል ያላቸው ጥያቄዎች ሙሉ ፎርዋርድ አድርጎ በላቸው ያምጡና ከዛ ሪቪው ተደርጎ ዋን ቱ ዋን ዲስካሽን እንደሚፈልጉ ደግሞ አለ ሚስአንደርስታንዲንጎች ጥሩ ነው ጅምሩ እንጂ እንደ ሳይን ማሳየታቸው ማለት ነው ለምሳሌ ዲሲዲ የዲሲ ላይ ያሉ ሰዎች ጥሩ ነው በርቱ በጣም ጥሩ ነው ቴንክ ዩ ቬሪ ማች ቴክኒካል ግሊቹ እንግዲህ ቴክኒካል ጉዞቹን አንዳንድ ጊዜ የምናወራቸው ነው ለሚቀጥለው አንድ ጊዜ ይኸው ያሉት ነገሮች ለመውሰድ ነውና ምናልባት መጥተው ሰዎች ካላችሁ ውጡ ካልሆነ ምንድን ናቸው አሁን የድምፆች ነገሮች ምንድን ነው የተፈጠረው ነገር ይሄን ጤና ሚኒስቴር ከአሁን በፊት እንትን ብለናል ያሉ የድምፅ አቋራጮች አሉ ለምንድን ነው ኮምፓውንድ ብላችሁ ቃል መልስ ለምን ተሰራዘ ነው ዝግጅቶች ነበሩ ምንድን ነው ችግር ጋር የተፈጠሩ ነገሮች ማለት ነው ማለት ነው ፌስቡክና ዩቲዩብ ላይ ይሰማል ግን እዚህ ጋር እኛ የእነሱን ድምፅ መስማት ያልቻልንበት ምክንያት ምንድን ነው ነው ችግር እሺ ፌስቡክ ላይ ዩቲዩብ ላይ ግማሽ ላይ መጥቶ ግማሽ ላይ ይቀርበታል ያየን ነው ሁላችንም ማለት ነው ላይቭ ስትሪሙ ጋር ነው እዚህ ጋር ካለው እኛ አዳራሽ የተፈጠሩ ነገሮች ናቸው ኖ አይደለም የወጣችበት ነገር ሁሉም ሰፖርት እንዳደረገን የፈለግነው እኛ ቴክኒካል እውቀት የለንም ስለዚህ የማን ነው ችግሩ ሶስት እንዳለው ነው ኖ የፒአር ጉዳይ አይደለም እኮ ያስፈልጋል ኖ ኢንተርኔት ብቻ ምናምን እሱ የፒአር ስራ ነው አሁን ከአይቲ ጋር በተያያዘ እናንተ የሚመጣዋችሁ ሰው ማለት ነው አንደኛ ኤርሚያስን እኛ መደበል ነበር እዚህ ቦታ ላይ እናንተ ወሰዳችሁ ሌላ ቦታ ማለት ነው ገብቷችኋል አይደል ይታለ አሁን የለም ይታወቃል ፕላስ ይኮን የአይቲ ጉዳይ ከሆነ ለምን እኛ ክፍል